Good morning, guys. My morning preview. Uh, a morning prep. So basically, I want to start with the VX futures. The actor contracts now are 33.45. Now, if you scroll down just a little bit right here, and I want to make a really good point of this. 44 days out, we're still at 31.75 this morning. So, yes, we are in a little bit of backwardation, but not by much. So at this point, you have to keep that in mind, guys, that they're expecting a lot of trouble for the next 44 days. So I do want to float that idea for anybody who is trying to go long this market. So be aware of that. And I do want to point out also UVXY is into resistance here to start the morning here. Let me get the right chart up here real quick. Yeah, we'll go over here on this one here. Maximize, and that's the wrong one. I'm sorry. Uh, yeah, I can use SMAs. There we go. We'll just do it that way. Okay, here we go. Here's what I want to point out, guys. We're marking right around 2140 here. That's going to put us right into that 200-day moving average for the open on UVXY. So be aware of that. We are opening our week right into that 200-day moving average. It has never been tested. So the first test is typically a fail. So I do want to point that out. Anytime you typically test a 200-day moving average, you typically get a fail pattern. And like I said, it has not been tested in a very long time. I mean, we're talking way back September of 2020. So that's the first time we got tested. So like I said, keep that in mind in the back of your head when you're trading today. So definitely want to keep that on. Remember, this thing goes to zero, you know, but I always keep that in the back of my mind when I'm trading. Okay, on those first time tests. We'll keep those very, very aware here. ES futures here, guys. We got my moving averages and stuff. I'm on the daily here. This is your 50-day moving average. This is your 200-day moving average. So I am predicting, because of the slope, us selling down hard here. And the harder we sell down, the faster this is going to happen. I'm thinking late Tuesday, Wednesday, we're going to have the death cross on our SPX and ES futures. So be aware of that. It could be Thursday, but I'm thinking middle week. We could possibly have the final death cross. We've already had the death cross on, pretty sure, all the other indices. I'll have to double check. We'll double check it here in a minute. But I know for sure the Qs, I know for sure the Russell have already had the death cross. And the most important one is the SPY. Okay. Whenever it has a death cross, we tend to break some support areas. So I do want to float that idea going into the middle of this week. We do have that scenario. Um, so I do want to float that idea. Qs, we'll go with Qs. Today is about the Russell though, because the banks are just getting decimated in Europe this morning. So I do want to float that idea as well. It's a banking carnage, and that has a lot to do with the losses in the bond markets, because a lot of banks in Europe have exposure to um, Russia, and they're going to have to fully write down all that debt. It's looking like they're going to have to take full write downs on all that debt as with the situation going on here. I got to put this on pause so I can get this loaded. Sorry, I typed in the wrong ticker. So basically, we got Head and Shoulders, of course. I have Head and Shoulders in about everything anymore. Uh, Bottom line is, I think the main level is way down here. I think this is actually the bottom of your Head and Shoulders. This should actually be your actual bottom. I don't think we've even finished the pattern. I think this is your right shoulder, and down in this area is your left shoulder. So right down here at the 12,350 area, somewhere around there. I think that's the bottom of the right shoulder. So you just keep that in mind. Like I said, we've already got the death cross last week on the Qs, so be aware of that. And we are going down lower today, and where are we at? 628. Let's see where that is on the smaller time frame. 13628. Got a nice little gap above us. Going sideways here. Like I said, down here, 13. What I say? 6. So down here, Let me double check that. Hell, we might already be down there. Let me double check. I was looking at 12,370 basically. 12,370. So 15. And so we got a long ways to go. 12,370 down here. Down here, in my opinion, finishes the pattern. So be aware of that. So that's a long ways away for us to get that scenario. But we do have a gap above us, and they may want to try to save that. Who knows? Right now, we are trading above we're trading right above on the uh, ESs on the European Open. So that is a little bit more bullish for the start of today. Slash RTY. Okay. And we're going to go here on the daily first. Wait a minute. I got to change this. Boom, 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 boom. Let me freeze this. This can load. So basically, here's my Russell. And so banks over in Europe are getting decimated today. That's bearish for the Russell. And also, which I'll get into in a minute on the crude, I think the crude may have topped out, at least for the day. I don't know if they're going to bring it back down, but I do think there's a potential that we have topped out in the short term on crude. So be aware of that as well. Both of those would be negative for the Russell. It looks like a bear flag to me, continuation. Like I've said many a times, I think we're going to go considerably lower, possibly this is the weekly 200. I'd like to see us close down here around the 1750 this week. So that is my theory, and I'm sticking to it. And if I go over here on percent, it's not on that one. I have to go right. RUT. And let me pause it again for this load. So I do want to float the idea here. We are going to be closing at or below that 20%, or opening at or below that 20% this morning on the Russell. So I definitely want to point out. So we're technically going to be in bear market territory for the Russell to open the day. And if I'm right about crude, and bottom line is we had the biggest backwardation on the crude futures ever in history. So that's a perfect recipe for some profit taking to start the week. So I do want to float that idea. Anybody, I wouldn't be taking crude stuff to the long side today. But maybe I'm wrong. We'll see. A couple things I'm looking at right today. That is your DAX. That's your German DAX. That's your German exchange. We are technically now, that line right there, that's 20% correction. So we gapped down, broke down below the 20% correction. They're officially in bear market territory for the DAX. And then the CAC, gotta remember what it is, CAC, CAC 100, isn't it? CAC 40. Can't remember. 1 second here. That's a France one. Give me a second. Let me get it. And I got this one here. The CAC. Right there is your 20% correction right there. So it just completely got decimated. A lot of the France and Spanish banks are getting hit pretty hard, and Italian banks, because of that. Going to probably have to write off full losses on the loan payments to Russia. So to keep that in mind, that's what's going on here in these markets. So we do have officially the Russell's going to be in bear market territory, the CAC in bear market territory, and the DAX bear market territory to start our session for the week. Not a very good sign for longs going into the week. Okay. So some things happening this morning. A chairman from GameStop, he made a large investment into Bed Bath & Beyond this morning. It's up 63% this morning. Ridiculous. 63% on Bed Bath & Beyond this morning on a big investment from our chairman. So I'm actually looking to short that near the open. So heads up on that. In this market, do you really want to be pushing something 63% up? I think they're nuts. Yeah, I think that's a prime candidate for a short. We'll see what happens. Oxy's up because the news did come out Friday after close that Berkshire Hathaway they had 11% stake. They had built 11% stake in Occidental. And remember, Occidental is heavily in oil in Africa, and they're going to be coming out like bandits on this Russia thing. Russia not being able to sell the U.S., so they're going to absolutely rake up. I think they're going to just. I think that's going to be without a doubt probably the best stock that's going to perform out of all this, all that oil coming out of Africa. Just heads up on that. And that bottom line. Also keep in mind on your volumes here. So we got 1.6 million shares traded on Best Buy. I mean, ridiculous volumes here. You know, just because a chairman bought into this, are you serious? Oh, that's just ridiculous. Uh, and then this is your 3-time Qs. So we got 1 point. You got more volume in Bed Bath and Beyond than you do uh in the Qs. Okay, so that's ridiculous. That kind of volume. No, I probably won't do it because there's so much volume there, but still, uh, I tell you, if I was doing anything, I'd be looking for short on that for that to come back down to like 30% or something like that. Probably get a 30% retracement on that today, but who knows? I could be wrong about that. Uh, and other than that, the volumes are fairly light. You see how the volumes, we're just trying to digest this and everything. I do have my book maps up, and I have. Let me see here. I will do this real quick, and then I will call it quits. My book maps are up here. So as you can see, the white line there, that's the European Open. So we just had a bloodbath out of Europe. There were 10 banks in Europe down more than 10% this morning. Yeah, that's just mind-boggling to see that kind of carnage over there. But yeah, there's buyers coming in right now, so heads up on that. And then also on the Nasdaq, it's even stronger versus the European Open. So I do want to float that eye also. See, we're way down here on the Nasdaq European Open, so it's actually performing better. So I am thinking early on this morning, because of what's going on with the bonds, that we will probably catch a bid in. Let's go to the end real quick here. Or let me pull that up and put pause while that's loading. So what I see with the bonds right here is I don't see a lot of fear. I think this is a very dangerous trade in a highly inflationary environment to be pouring your money into the bond markets. So what we could be seeing right here at the beginning of the week is money rotating back out of the bonds. And another critical way, let's go to the dollar real quick. If money's coming out of the dollar, that supports my thesis that everybody parked their money into the US currency. And if money would be coming out of the dollar, that would even support this even more. Well, that theory is not so much. So heads up on that. So and there is talk out this morning that the Swiss franc, or yeah, the Swiss might be get pegged to the euro again. Bottom line is, with the Swiss being unpegged with the euro, that's adding the fuel to the fire on the commodity prices. And if they repeg them, I guess that can actually decelerate a lot of this out of control parabolic moves in the commodities. So they're really seriously talking about maybe by the end of the week repegging the Swiss to the euro. So they basically unpegged it all whenever all that stimulus was going on during the finance, and uh, so now they're talking about pegging it again. So heads up on that. So that's everything I got. Like the video if you like it, please, and please retweet it on Twitter. I appreciate all the retweets you can get me. Okay, guys, and leave comments below. Nobody leaves me comments. Please, if you guys see stuff I'm not seeing, I really appreciate it. I'm kind of leaning more to the bullish side, believe it or not. So I don't know. We will see. I mean, we'll see. But honestly, as I showed you, those implied volatilities are really jacked. It's just as likely they take us nowhere today and just destroy option premium. That's what they love doing whenever option premium gets really high. So I do want to float that idea as well. Okay, guys. So basically, any trades I do, I'm probably going to be looking out to not this Friday, the next Friday expiration. So I'm actually looking possibly 2 weeks out to do day trades with. So just heads up on that.